Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of the video and then I'll go back, explain some things, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
This briefing will provide information about an officer-involved shooting involving members of the New York City Police Department. You will see relevant video footage and other available evidence that will allow you to gain a better understanding of the events that led up to the incident and what occurred during the incident based on the facts that we know at this time. New York state law and NYPD policy give police officers the authority to use reasonable force under appropriate circumstances. The department's Force Investigation Division conducts a thorough investigation when an officer discharges his or her firearm or in cases of any serious police-related injury or death. Sometimes these investigations can require as much as a year or longer to complete. Our understanding of the incident may change as additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. Investigators are typically required to interview multiple witnesses several times, review many hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. The images and information you are about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to take a person into custody or defend against an attack, the images can be graphic and sometimes difficult to watch. There may also be strong language recorded in the videos you are about to see. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers.
Watch.
There's somebody over here.
Where? Watch back, watch.
Yo, stand still. Hey.
There we are. He's running.
Hey, got the flag.
Watch.
Operation Central B advised of getting another shot started now at 12 West 142nd Street for 3 rounds, street level.
Get up.
We're the one who ran.
For people on duty for the second
Hands
health
up. All right, so come over here, Bobby. I got my hands up. You good? Come on.
Just back up.
Here, right now. Come over here. Stand and come. Hands on your pockets. Hands on the car, buddy.
Stay where you are.
I'm good.
You got nothing on you.
I got nothing on me.
What's this?
What?
What's this?
I don't, check it out. Whatever you want to take, whatever you want to take. See, that's
You take with your hands on. Let's go. Boys! Down this way, boys. Hey! Shots fired! He's coming down this way! Hands! Give me your hands! Show me your hands!
Come on!
Go back! Back the fuck up! Shots fired!
You good?
I'm good, man. You good? Boys, you good?
I'm good.
I'm moving, boys. Follow. Boys, I'm following.
You see him? Get that nigga.
Yeah.
Right. Keep moving. Watch your fucking profile.
Sergeant Road on the shot spotter.
3-2 Paramedic Lieutenant. Red.
There's somebody over here.
Where? Back, watch.
Yo, stand still. Hey, put
Here
your
we
hands
are.
up. Hey, put your hands up.
He's running.
Hey, got the flag. He's gonna run.
McDermott.
Operation Central B advised of getting another shot.
Get on the ground. Come forward. Get up.
3 rounds, street level.
Get up. Come forward.
He's good. I got my hands up.
All right, so come over here, Poppy. Come right here. You good? Come around the car. Come over here. Just stare at. Come. Put your hands on the car. Buddy. Stay where you are.
I'm good.
You got nothing on you.
I got nothing on me. What's your name?
What's this?
What? What's this? Check it out. Whatever you want to take, check. Whatever you want to take. See, that's
fine, shots fired! Hands! Give me your hands! Show me your hands! Summer, come on! Go back! 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 Stop the fuck up! Get back! Fucker. Fuck. You coming? You good? Yeah. I'm good, man. You good? Boss, you good? Yeah, I'm good! You see him? Sends the male black hoodie with the yellow stripe. Watch what you got.
In the coming weeks and months, the NYPD Force Investigation Division, in cooperation with the prosecutor having jurisdiction over this incident, will continue to investigate and analyze this incident as more interviews are conducted and forensic tests are completed. After the investigation is complete, the facts of the case will be presented to the First Deputy Commissioner's Use of Force Review Board, which will evaluate the evidence to determine if the use of force applied in this case was justified and within department guidelines.
All right. Drop that volume.
This
Head back
brief-
into it. So
Police
NYPD,
Department.
they like to talk, and they will talk for almost 2 damn minutes before they get into anything. You know, these critical incident briefings, they're important, but sometimes it just seems like they do way too much talking. And I've debated on any future videos from New York, just outright editing them and taking out all that fluff at the very beginning. Some of the stuff in the video I think could have been added towards the end, like the recovery of the guns. And I'll get into the gun stuff here, particularly this part. But I don't know. I've said this before as far as West Coast versus East Coast and how they do the incident briefings. I kind of like California's way of doing it better than New York. New York just kind of sucks at it. So these officers had initially responded to some type of disturbance where these people out in the parking lot were being loud. And it said at the beginning that those people apologized for being loud and they agreed that they were going to disperse. So that leads me to believe that the officer said, okay, and then left before ensuring that everyone had dispersed. I am not a fan of taking people's word because you just can't trust people. And I have, on many occasions, have come across a crowd of people, told them they need to disperse, and they said, oh, okay. And, they'll be like, oh, we're just exchanging phone numbers or doing, they come up with some excuse about why they're waiting there. Well, there's no reason for them to be waiting there anymore. And I'm talking from the regards of private property. So public property, sidewalks and stuff like that. There's not really a whole lot that can be done in those regards, but private property is private property. And if it's not their property, then and as long as you got, obviously, from the security standpoint, it's your property that you're in charge of. You can almost do whatever you want in regards to the police, as long as you got good working relationship with the manager of their property, their owner of their property, whatever, and they've given you kind of a blanket statement, so to speak, on doing what you think needs to be done best in regards to their property. You can still do most whatever you want. And in these instances that I'm talking about, it's private property, and these people are congregating and loitering and hanging out and saying, "Oh, we're just getting a phone number. We'll leave," or "Oh, we're just talking. We'll leave here in a few minutes." And I never once said, "Oh, you know what? These people are going to be truthful. They'll be gone," because I'm sure I did, you know, in the very, 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 very beginning, so many moons ago, that you know, the actual instances of the beginnings I've probably forgotten by now. But you know, I'm sure there at the very beginning there was a point where I took someone's word. Oh yeah, okay, sure, they'll leave, and they come back, and sure enough, they're not gone. So when people are saying they're going to leave, and you're in charge of that property, and you can have control or dictate the outcome of people's being there, then by all means make them move. If you can have the final say in whether or not they get to continue standing there or not, then definitely have that final say and make them get the hell out of there, because nothing good happens late at night in parking lots with a bunch of men, especially you know, that late in the night, early in the morning, around midnight time. You know, there's the saying, nothing good ever happens after midnight, and that's pretty damn true. So if it's just a large group of dudes hanging out late at night, I mean, what the fuck are dudes doing hanging around late at night for? Why aren't they at some girl's house? Why aren't they at home playing on their PlayStation or Xbox? Like, what the hell are these groups of dudes doing? All right, unless they're playing a game like basketball or tennis or something, you know, whatever, then them hanging around in parking lots, that's just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Groups of men, groups of people hanging out in parking lots late at night never turn into anything good. There's always some type of fuckery going on. So the quicker you can move those people and get them to leave, the better. Now, I don't know the exact circumstances here, but they obviously had to return because of some fuckery going on. Now, it may not have been these people directly involved, but I kind of believe that they had something to do with this dude all the way over here with the gun. So they initially get these people at gunpoint, thinking they have something to do with what's going on.
Here, right now. Come over here. Stand in the car. Stand in the car, buddy.
And again, like I said, they might not have been a direct problem, but they were probably engaged in somehow with the overall issue of what was going on. I find it hard to believe that just by happenstance, this one random dude out of nowhere decided that he was going to say, "Hey, you know what? This big old group of people here and these police, I'm just gonna shoot at them." That could very well be the case, but I kind of think that this group of people and that dude were having some issues to begin with anyway, and these people aren't exactly 100% quote-unquote innocent.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are.
I'm good.
You got nothing on you.
I got nothing on me. Got some weed.
What's this?
What?
What's this?
I don't, check it out. Check it out. Whatever you want to take, take. Whatever you want to take. See, that's it.
So, contact.
Check it out. Whatever you want to take, take. Whatever you want to take. See, that's
So they react to contact, crouching down. This guy runs for cover.
You stay with your hands on. Let's go.
He
Let's
goes
go.
for
Let's
cover.
go.
Now listen to that ting noise, that ding. Bring up the volume a little bit, hit rewind. Alright, there we go.
You stay with your hands on. Let's go. Let's go.
So those bullets are hitting some of this fence over here, I believe. That's what the ting noise is.
Go, boys. Down this way, boys. Boys. Hey. Shot fired. Shot fired. Shot fired. He's coming down this way. Hands. Hands. Give me your hands. Show me your hands. Hands. Shot fired.
hard to see with nighttime footage and the camera being so shaky.
Hey!
But the bad guy is down in this way somewhere, and it's hard to tell for sure exactly where he's at due to the camera. Shoots at him. Officer runs for cover.
Shot fired! He's coming down this way!
The officer can see him and announces that the dude is coming their way after having just shot at them.
Hands! Hands!
He's wasting his time yelling, "Hands." This guy who just shot at them is coming towards them and shoots at them some more. He is in the act of wanting to murder this officer. And this officer is trying to use verbal commands to get him to show him his hands. Fuck that. That's a waste of time. This guy has made his decision to shoot at police. The police, their reaction should be to just return fire and leave it at that.
Show me your hands! Come on! Go back! Back the fuck up! Shot fired!
So obviously this guy is experiencing a lot of adrenaline. Both hands are on the gun, and he's yelling shots fired. He's obviously not talking on the radio, so I think the rush of it all is getting to him a little bit.
You good? I'm good, man. You good? Boys, you good? I'm good. I'm moving, boys. Follow.
So I like how instead of being in this heavily lit walkway, they run out into the parking lot. And although the parking lot's lit, they at least have lots of these objects called cars that they can use for cover, whereas this long walkway, there is no cover.
Boys, I'm following!
And so at least now, they can move from cover to cover, see the corner where the guy appeared out of, and advance on his location using all these vehicles for cover. I do like that.
You see him? Get that nigga!
Yeah.
Hey! See him? Get that nigga! You see him? Get that nigga! You see him? Get that nigga! You see him? Get that nigga!
So, I guess this is the people who were in the parking lot, the men that they initially dealt with. It could be them yelling. It sounded like one of them said, "Fuck him up."
You see him? You see him? Get that nigga!
And then one of them says, "Get that N-word." You know, if anyone else had shouted those words, there would be a fucking congressional investigation going on.
Yeah.
Hey! Keep moving! Watch your fucking profile!
All right. Move to some more footage. So, hold on. So this little sticker on the dashboard area of the car, should your BWC be on? BWC being body worn camera. Interesting sticker. You know, I think I've seen something similar to this before in a vehicle. It's just due to the lighting angles, I couldn't really make out what it said. But I'd imagine it probably kind of delivered the same message. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with this whole little structure thing here. What you see the iron fence here, but then in front of it you see the chain link fence. And again, you can still see more of the iron fence, but then there's chain link fence. So I don't know if this is like a construction thing. Like at first I thought maybe this is like some type of protection for construction. Like here's the building and they're doing some kind of work up high, but the building's kind of far away from the walkway. It still might be a construction thing. I don't know. This structure in of itself just seems a little odd to me.
No, stand still! Hey, put your hands up! Hey, put your hands up! Put your hands down! Hey, that's a flag! It's a flag!
Come around the car. Come over here. Come over here. Just stare at. Come.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. I'm good. Check it out. Check it out. Whatever you want to take, take. Whatever you want to take. See, that's
Oop, back it up. All right, so there's the bad guy right there. He's down in this walkway, and this is probably the clearest image we're going to be able to get of him.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Hands! Give me your hands! Give me your hands!
Summer, come on.
Go back! 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 Stop the fuck up!
Get back. Fucker. Fuck.
You coming? You good? Yeah. I'm good, man. You good? Boss, you got it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and that about concludes the shooting of it. So, New York is a very large agency. So I'd imagine that, there is some budgeting issues, so to speak. But then again, they do have an extremely large budget. And in my opinion, there's really no good reason why any of these officers shouldn't be having weapon-mounted lights. Now, obviously, this is a pretty well lit walkway, lots of ambient light. Do they absolutely need weapon-mounted lights right now? Maybe not, but they obviously work nighttime, and they should be likely in other areas where there's not so much ambient light, and they would need a weapon-mounted light. So that's kind of an equipment issue to me, is the lack of any weapon-mounted lights in here. As far as them engaging with the bad guy here, so the first officer's camera view, after being shot at from the bad guy, the officer gets into a different position and observes the bad guy coming towards him and wants to start throwing up verbal commands from the show's hands, and then the bad guy continues the fight and shoots at him. And then this officer here, good clear line of sight to this guy. This guy fires around, and then this officer takes off.
Shots fired! He's coming down this way!
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Hands! Give me your hands! Give me your hands!
And again, him and the other officer,
Summer, come on.
Go back! Back! Back!
after contact, move further away. And this is, I would say that there is a lack of adequate aggressiveness out of these officers. But then again, they don't really have much cover to use. That chain link fence and that netting right there isn't going to stop any bullets, nor is that bush. So the argument can go both ways. Um, One could argue, yeah, they need to move to cover and get behind cover. All right, I get that. However, the other argument is the bad guy's right there. He's right there. Clear line of sight to him. Be aggressive. Start returning fire and get effective rounds on target. So this is probably maybe an issue where some more training could have a different outcome. More force on force training could result in a different outcome, but that will also depend on the mindset of the teaching of it, whether you immediately run and go to cover or you fight where you stand. Now, going all the way back to some of these photos that I think they should have shown at the very end. This is the gun the bad guy was using to shoot at the police with. So the police returned fire to him, shot him in the hand. You can see where one of the police officer's bullets hit the suspect's gun. Now, I am a big fan of Glock, and I firmly believe that you clean this up right here, replace the magazine, this gun will run perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. And I would even argue that, if he could rip the magazine out and put a new one in, I'd say this thing would probably feed just fine and not be an issue. The only problem may be getting the magazine, get this magazine out. That may be slightly difficult, possibly. I don't know. I'd have to see some different angles of this gun. And then trying to get a new magazine in, I would say would probably be easier than getting this one out. But even trying to get a new one in, there may be a snag or something. But I think it would obviously go in if you put enough force into it. And the gun should operate perfectly fine once you get the magazine passed. But it is, I don't have statistics in front of me. I can't pull out a certain number and say, this percentage of this percentage of that, whatever. But there are lots of people in gunfights who get shot in the hand, or the gun gets shot, or their forearms get shot. And the reason why is the person has the gun in front of them and it's extended outwards. And when you're looking at that, and you're pointing a gun back at a person who's pointing a gun at you, their hand and their gun just so happen to be in front of their chest area. And that, of course, is where you're wanting to shoot at. So if their hands are kind of in front of their chest area and you start sending rounds at them, then, of course, there is a chance that your rounds could hit their hands or their arms. And then the other part of why we see people's hands and guns and arms being shot during gunfights is threat focusing. So as you're aiming and shooting, you're focusing on that threat, that big gun in front of you that could potentially end up killing you, and you just, by happenstance, fire at it, and bullets hit it. And that kind of goes into some theories about why when people run off the side of the road, they hit the only damn tree in a field within a 1 mile radius. They are focusing so much on that tree that they inadvertently steer their vehicle towards it. Also, same theory on why some people will rear end a police car on the side of the road. The people are looking and focusing on the rubbernecking, and they're focusing on the officer and what's going on, or they may be focused on the lights, and since their eyes are focusing on that, they are inadvertently turning the wheel and gravitating towards what they're staring at. And that's why in some defensive driving, it's talked about and lectured on where you want to move your vehicle, that's where you look towards. If you want to avoid a tree, you don't look at you don't look at the tree. You look for the path that is void of any trees, and that's where you steer your vehicle towards. So those are a couple explanations on why we see hands and guns and forearms being shot in gunfights. It's not because people are purposely shooting the other person's hand, trying to, knock the gun out of their hand or whatever. It's just something that ends up happening in gunfights. Go through all this mess of talking here. The bad guy also had these guns here. And so out of these, the only one I see worth a shit is this M&P shield over here. Now, where did that Glock and these other pistols come from? I kind of doubt that the bad guy went and bought them from a gun store. I seriously doubt that. What most likely happened is this bad guy either A, stole all these guns, or B, other people stole them and he bought them or traded things for them. I would say that with a lot of confidence, these are probably all stolen firearms. And my rant about leaving unsecured firearms comes into play. If your gun is not on you or within arm's reach of you, then that gun needs to be made either inaccessible or inoperable to unauthorized users. If you leave home every day and you leave your gun at home, that gun needs to be made inaccessible or inoperable. Inaccessible means that a person cannot easily access it, i.e., it should not be sitting on top of the nightstand, sitting in the nightstand drawer, behind your bedroom door, in the corner of your closet, on top of the little shelf in your closet, or on your coffee table, or in the drawer of the coffee table. It should not be very easily accessible to someone other than you. Or it should be made inoperable. Inoperable would be something like a trigger lock on it, or a cable lock through the magazine well and coming out the ejection port. Inside of a safe, whether that's a big safe or a little safe. And if it's a little safe, then it needs to be tethered to something. When people break into homes and guns are sitting on top of nightstands, on top of dressers, or inside the drawers and just sitting there, or they're on a coffee table or in the drawer of a coffee table, or right behind the bedroom door, or inside the closet in the corner, or on top of the shelf, or hell, even in a basic gun cabinet, the wooden one with the glass panes in it, being in those, or you don't see these a whole lot, but the little indoor rifle racks, something that would be sitting above a fireplace mantle or something like that. Those guns can be easily stolen when you're not home to deter a bad guy from coming into your home. If you leave home with your gun and then you get to where you're going, but you don't take your gun with you inside, like you're going to work and you don't bring your gun with you into work, or you go to the mall and you don't take it with you, and you leave your gun in your car, and you leave it in the center console or the door panel, or you leave it in the glove box unlocked, then you're wrong. You need to make those things inaccessible or inoperable. You can put it in the glove box and lock the glove box. If you don't lock it in the glove box, then what you should do is have a small safe for inside the vehicle that you can put the gun in, and that safe can have a cable lock that you can tether to your seat. There are so many guns that are so easily stolen out of cars because people leave them in the middle console that doesn't even lock. People's relaxed stance on how they store their firearms are how so many of these firearms find their way into the street. Your persistent felony offender, drug dealer, and bank robber people who have felonies, they're not going to gun stores and buying these guns. They can't even pass the background check. They might have baby mama who might not have a felony conviction go buy them from the gun store. They might have a homie who hasn't caught a felony yet who could go to a gun store and legally buy one. Those are straw purchases. Those are illegal. And when they're caught, they should be fully prosecuted for that. But the bulk of these guns that these street criminals get are stolen firearms. They come from the men and women of this country who are law-abiding citizens. They are legally able to own weapons, but they recklessly store them in a manner that makes it easy for criminals to get them. If you are not going to carry a gun on you and leave it on you all day, then you need to make your weapons inaccessible and or inoperable to unauthorized people. The more guns that get stolen and get used in street crimes, the more ammo, so to speak, the anti-gun crowd amasses and can use against all of us. These AK pistols and these AR pistols, in my opinion, are about to go bye-bye within the next 10 years because these little street thugs, they just love them. They love these things. They love those choppas, right? For the rest of us law-abiding people, yeah, we like the AR pistols and AK pistols too, because it's the next best thing we can have to a short-barreled rifle without having to jump through all the stupid hula hoops the ATF would want you to jump through to get a fucking short-barreled rifle. But they're about to go bye-bye because assholes can't store their fucking guns properly and let these little street thugs steal the damn things. And when they get used in fucking street crimes or they're used against the police, then what's going to happen? Seriously, what is going to happen? These anti-gun crowd people are going to win. They are going to win and get more unconstitutional gun laws passed. And the only people it's going to affect is law-abiding citizens. We are fucking our own selves when we don't do the shit we need to do. Just the other day, the sheriff's office down in Florida released a video of 2 deputies being attacked by some felon with an AR pistol. That's going to keep happening until it gets to the point where that shit's going to get banned. Another little rant. So, other than that, not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, give me a like and a share. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.